some 85%. The crowds chant Bibi, King of Israel. And with some 85% of the ballots counted, it looks like the country's longest-serving leader, Benjamin Netanyahu, has won his crown back. For many Israelis, the issue of security and safety were top of the agenda, and the former military commando put security at the center of his politics. A string of street attacks by Palestinians has killed 20 Israelis this year, which has some voters returning to Netanyahu.
I'm happy to see the results of the parliamentary seats. People have woken up and seen what's going on in the country, which cannot be ignored.
Many see him as Israel's protector, others a ruthless politician who will do anything to stay in power. That's where this guy comes in, far-right politician Itamar Ben-Gvir. Once seen as too extreme, may now play kingmaker in Netanyahu's coalition building. Israel's fifth election in less than 4 years may finally produce a stable government. It'll also produce Israel's most right-wing. Ben-Gvir's religious Zionism party is set to win the third most seats.
The public wishes for leadership that will protect the land of Israel, that will develop the Negev and the Galilee, that will protect our capital, Jerusalem.
The ultra-nationalist is known for his anti-Arab rhetoric. And here he is last month, filmed pulling out a gun after being targeted with stones thrown by Palestinians. He was visiting Sheikh Jarrah in occupied East Jerusalem and also called on the police to shoot the stone throwers. After exit polls, Israeli settlers gathered there, shouting insults and throwing stones towards Palestinian areas.
Ben-Gvir has a long history of violence, racism, hating Arabs. He claims that he became much more moderate, and I hope that he is right. Lots of youngsters in Israel voted for him because of the fear of self-security, the fear of the self that the government is not giving the right answers for the wave of terror.
For the Palestinians, life under a Netanyahu government has meant entrenched occupation and more loss of land with settlement expansion. Many fear his return to power will only bring more violence.
We just shifted from a soft ethnic cleansing and settlement and land grab and killings of Palestinians in Nablus and Jenin and more besiegement of Gaza. We shifted from a soft creeping annexation to a hard annexation and ethnic cleansing, to in your face, to a vulgar form of racism. For the Palestinians, I think the difference will be more of us will lose our lives.
Netanyahu, who's still on trial for corruption, which he denies, is often dubbed the magician by his admirers. He'll now need to play his cards carefully to build a governing coalition that lasts.
He's back. First of all, I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahshua, Ba'ashem Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of the great millstone. Salutation to all the brothers and a few sisters out there unto the Israelite foreigners from the seed of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Shalom in the Hebrew, which means peace. Gonna be a quick show through the spirit of Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahshua. That devil's back. That devil's back in office. And why it's so significant? That devil's the one, if anyone that would do the things that need to be done to pop these prophecies, to make it come to life, he is that guy. He is that guy. He's that guy that's gonna get Israel into a war with Iran. It's gonna drag America right along with it, right along to hell. All right, that's the guy. That's the guy. Because whoever I don't know the guy who took his spot for a short period of time, he didn't even do that much. And you can hear it's like, yeah, he's under investigation for corruption, but that's the type of individuals that they look for. These people are, like I did in the last show, they bloodshedders, they bloodthirsty. They're the most corruptible beings in the planet Earth. And this guy, he's in the embodiment of who they are as a people. All right. Many presidents came, and many presidents that was guided by this guy, he wanted them to fully go in and destroy Iran. And Biden he ain't no difference. He's a puppet. He's gonna get himself. I'm sorry. He's gonna get the United States of America in a situation he's not gonna find himself to get out of, because this is gonna be the war to end all wars. Already, America got boots in Ukraine. Already, NATO and the EU are involved of supplying the Ukrainians against Russia. Already, America is involved in Taiwan and China. There's a lot of things that's going on, and yes, we all being distracted by the Yee, Kyrie, and all this other nonsense. But the passing of that other rapper, not to say passing, but the killing of that other rapper. But this right here, this is one of those gems that you kind of you look for. Okay, this is the thing that everybody should be watching. Netanyahu set for a comeback in Israel. That's the guy that's gonna get this place fucked up. All right. The more corrupt they are over there, the more better it is. To show you this whole political system from the get-go has always been corrupted. All right. Here it is. America goes to talk about all these other nations and how their democratic system is corrupted and all that. How many times can one man go back into office? All right, the last president, if I'm not mistaken, was FDR. I think he had like 4 terms, unheard of. So yeah, I think like 4 terms. So that means 16 years of one president. Other than that, you never hear another president try to come back. When they're talking about Trump might come back in 2024 and all this other nonsense. Well, we'll see. All right, we'll see. But yeah, if he comes back, man, I clearly see it through the Spirit of the Lord, man. Matter of fact, let me start with this. 2 6 and 7, it says, Then answered I and said, What shall be the parting asunder of the times? And when shall be the end of the first and the beginning of it that followeth? He said unto me, when from Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born of him, Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau. So Ezra asks the angel, right, who is a messenger of the Heavenly Father, like, when is this gonna end? All right. So he said basically Esau, which verse the next verse, for Esau is the end of the world. Now this man had a long stretch, and he's been trying to end this long ago. Now he has the ability to end it. All right, he got the right aggressive. The Most High is the ultimate chess player. He put in the right pieces in the right position at the right time. You got these leaders that's around the world. Either they're real influential, people will follow them, all corrupt, but they all heartless beings, right? And just looking for the opportunity to make this thing come to an end. All right. It says, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. So Esau is clearly the end of the world. All right, end of his world. It says, like I said, it's gonna be quick. I don't have to go that long. Obadiah 1, and I'll start at 1. It says, the vision of Obadiah, which Obadiah means Yahweh's servant. All right. Thus saith the Lord, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, concerning Edom. We have heard a rumor from the Lord, an ambassador sent among the heathen. Arise ye, and let us rise up against her in battle. And that ambassador was Gomar. Damn, I forgot his last name. But he was a prime minister of Egypt, and he said, how can the Jews... He said it this way. He said, you would never have peace. How you left black and came back white. All right. So as soon as those people came into that land, 1948ers, there's never been peace in the Middle East. Never been peace. No matter who they put, no matter how many people they they have to support. There's never been peace. What is called the Arab. Damn, I forgot the name of it. The Arabs have their own form of a UN over there, and it took a while for them just to not even try to fuck that place up because America was backing it up. But they slowly turning on America. Oh, Saudi Arabia. When Biden went over there, Biden I guess he went to beg for oil, whatever, and the Saudi princes, and the rulers of Saudi said, look, you can't tell us what to do. We are mortars. We would execute you. So they more in the favor of who? Saudi Arabia, which is supposed to be one of America's great allies over there, is more going towards favoritism to Russia. Okay? So the nations are angry, or always been angry, of Esau's stand in that region. It says, behold, I made thee small among the heathen. And that word we always bring it out is Qatan, which means hated. Okay? And the beloved brother Manat Zakba did the show called a rabbi publicly lying, two niggas agreeing with her lies, talking about his 15 million small hatters around the world. They're a small community, and it's like, yeah, that's right. Like, but we ain't stupid, but still, you still fulfill the prophecy. You're the most hated people on the planet Earth. That's why you have documentaries that are coming out more and more about you. Yeah, YouTube may take them down, but there's other sources where they're coming out showing who you are. All right, you are hated, the most hated people on the planet Earth. It says, thou art greatly despised, the pride of thine heart have deceived thee. Thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rocks. All right, these are mountain dwellers all around, from Amalek, which is the head tribe, which Benjamin Netanyahu, that he's an Amalekite. All right, that whole region of them. Either their ancestors came from Ashkenaz or just Mount Seir. It doesn't matter. They all history goes back to the mountains. All right, proving that these are the Caucasians. It says the heart. They said the pride of thy heart have deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rocks. Caucasians, all right, whose habitation is high. That's saying that in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? And that's why every city, every city, all looks the same. High, out of this world, unnecessary buildings that all resemble caves. Okay, where did it get this architectural form? It's got it from Mount Seir. There's a picture circulating. When you picture of Mount Seir, and you look at Rome, Greece, all right, modern day New York, all that, they all have the same thing. These clearly show you these are the Edomites. All right. It says, though thou exalt thyself as an eagle, though thou set thy nest among the stars, thence will I bring thee down, saith the Lord. So exalting thyself as an eagle, because what is there? All these empires, these Edomite empires, animal symbol, eagles. Okay, Rome bared it, Greece bared it, Germany bared it, America bears it. Okay, they all have the sign of the eagle. That was another clue. There's a lot of clues that you could clearly see who these people really are. It says, if thieves came to thee, if robbers by night, how art thou cut off? Would they not have stolen till they have enough? If the grape gatherers came to thee, would they not leave some grapes? This is what? Who's that great robber? The great robber is going to be Yahweh Shai. He's about to take everything from you. How are the things of Esau sought out? How are his hidden things sought up? And that's what all these documentaries of who you really are, even the sense of what we, through the Spirit of the Lord, been saying about you, all these other nations are starting to see it, and they pointing the finger and calling who you really are. All right, we in the age of information. People no longer believe the nonsense that they've been told. All right, they'll say it's misinformation, but his whole entire history, it hasn't been misinformation. The truth is coming out. That was prophetic. All right. So all the things that you've been hiding, who you are, what you're about, is coming to fruition. There's another picture of 1948, how the Palestinians had the land, and rapidly, how these Israelis has taken over the land. All right, for the whole world to see, and they don't follow not a single thing, a guideline, a UN guideline, on anything of humanity. They don't follow not one thing. So the world sees who you are, and that's your greatest fear. But you did it so clever, you think you smart, that you think that when they figure everything out, it's gonna be too little, too late. Nah, that's when it gets dangerous for you. So the pieces, the main pieces are on the table. The main actors to get this shit going is on the table. It says all the men of that confederacy, which is that all the people that came in agreement, have brought thee even to the border. So what's that main confederacy? Let's talk about that. The people in the land of Israel, which is the welfare state of America, is bringing them into that, is going to bring them into that war. The war to end all wars. All right? Because once America gets involved with the Iran deal, with Iran, Russia's going to get involved. And in Russia right now, there's blood in their mouth. In other words, they're in wartime. All right? And they're going to remember all the things that America has been doing. That's why this war in Ukraine is so important. Because the war in Ukraine is about positioning of power. And the U.S. and their allies is not making sure Russia get nothing. So if you are in the NATO and the EU, America is trying to fight Russia in Ukraine, a proxy war, which is really a hot war. How much more of a war is going to be when America and Israel go in to attack Iran? This is it. It says, the men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee. Because who's controlling the political system right here in the shores of America? Those people. All right? They're dictating who's running for office, who's the biggest lobbyist for their country, who's going to completely support their way of doing things. Every president that came into power always kisses their ass, and I believe Netanyahu probably had, like, maybe he had Obama, Trump. He probably had, I can't remember, he probably had Bush. So he probably had 3 presidents kissing his ass. Biden ain't no different. And his whole thing, all those years, wasn't peace. His whole thing is to annihilate Iran. So he's that guy that's going to push Biden to say, you know what? We're going to follow what you say, Benjamin. And you see how everybody was dancing. They so happy that he's coming back. He's coming back. Right? They ecstatic. This man is coming back into power. It says, and prevail against thee, they that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee, and there's none understanding in him. And who, once again, the biggest welfare state of America is that land. They the ones that supplying the riches to that land. They the ones that supplying the nuclear arms to that land, which they was like, they don't want the world to know they have nukes, but they got nukes. The world knows you got nukes, but once you make mention of they got nukes, nah. All right, America is the provider of all those things, but since it's been providing all these years, that relationship is going to get this land completely annihilated, desolate. All right, shall I not in that day, saith the Lord, even destroy the wise men out of Edom? This whole conglomerate of these small hatters around the world, they all come up with this wise, smart plan, this brilliant plan to start World War I, II, III, so they could bring in a new world order. So the Lord's gonna make their understanding stupid, because everything's gonna backfire on them. It says in the understanding out of the mount of Esau, and the mighty men, Teman, which are the Germans, all right. And when you look at the history, I was watching that documentary, Europo. Is it Europo? No, I'm sorry, it was the other one, Amalek. That one was just part one alone. It shows you why Teman is the way it is. Why the Lord always, you knew out of all Esau's children, Teman was the smartest, because the Germans always got themselves out of whatever jam that the rest of his brothers always put them in. Because there's a lot of times where Germany was not even supposed to get the way it was, and they always gotten out of it. But a lot of the Germans, all right, it was a lot of Amalekites that was involved and that was pushing certain things, all right, hard body. A lot of things that you see today, that we see now, that became normalcy, this abnormal behavior, this abnormal things. Well, guess what? It's all started out in Germany. Before it was a popular thing, it all started out in Germany. Germany was that testing ground. Okay? And Amalek, that was dwelling in that land, was the head of all these mishaps that we see today. So the Lord put a certain mindset on Teman, not only for the nukes, but all this perverseness that's going around the world. It says, and the mighty man, O Teman, shall be dismayed, to the end that every one of Mount Esau, the whole family of Esau, may be cut off by slaughter. So they're not wise enough or smart enough to get them out of this predicament that is about to take place. What predicament is that? World War III, the destruction of their empire, their entire existence. Over 400 years, these people has been ran. Well, maybe over 5. Yep, over 500 years they ransack on this planet Earth, polluting, destroying it, rechanging everything, reforming everything. All right, all that for that great slaughter that's going to take place real soon. Okay, for the violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever. So the shit that they did unto us, and they get mad at Kyrie. Now there's more evidence who funded, which we all know, who funded the whole slave trade. Who funded it? Who's behind it? All right, the same people that want to cry about this and that, they're the same ones that was funding it. This is gonna be a great, man. This is the great awakening. It's gonna come with a great ass kicking. Okay, this is why they're putting themselves in a position. They're putting the right players, because they know what's about to come. In order to do what they have to do, they have to expose a lot of themselves, and they have to take power from the people as they're exposing themselves. Because when people really realize who's really behind a lot of shit, and a lot of your lawmakers, that's them, is trying to get those guns off for the regular civilians. So that's why I keep pushing these violent acts in these streets. So when they take those guns from you and they expose themselves to you, there's nothing you can do. All right? Because payback is coming, and they know that. It says verse 11, in that day that the stoodest on the other side, in that day that the strangers carried away the captives, his forces and foreigners entered into his gates. So when the Babylonians came and ransacked us and took us down, who was cheering them on? Who was aiding the Babylonians? Esau, Edom. All right. It says, and cast lots upon Jerusalem, even that was as one of them. But thou shouldest not have looked on the day of thy brother, and the day that he had became a stranger, neither shouldest thou have rejoiced over the children of Judah in the day of their destruction, neither shouldest thou have spoken proudly in the day of their distress. This, like the scripture says, the hatred that Esau has towards Jacob is a perpetual hatred forever. To this very day, this man hates us. And you can call yourself everything under the sun except an Israelite. That's when they have a problem with that. Why is that? Because if you find out the truth, you'll become a bigger threat than you already are, with not even knowing the truth. And they know that. It says, thou shouldest not enter into the gate of my people in the day of their calamity. Yea, thou shouldest not have looked on their affliction in the day of the calamity, nor have laid hands on their substance in the day of the calamity. Neither shouldst thou have stood in the crossway to cut off those of his that escaped. So they really aided the Babylonians. That's what scripture says in Psalms 137, who said, race it even to the foundation thereof. Because once again, they have that hatred towards us. All right. Neither shouldest thou have delivered those of his that did remain in the day of the distress. For the day of the Lord is near upon all the heathen. As thou hast done, it shall be done unto thee. So all the things you've done unto us, it was going to be done unto you, but double. Okay? And the Lord's setting you up perfectly, putting the right guy in the right position to get you wiped out. Thy reward shall return upon thy own head. For as ye have drunken upon my holy mountain, so shall all the heathen drink continually. Yea, they shall drink, and they shall swallow down, and it shall be as though they had not been. And that's not talking about how this guy over here, let me see if I can find that, celebrating. Let me see if I can find it. You see, I think this is, yeah, they was celebrating, man. They was ecstatic. They bought
Stable government. It'll also
there it is. Spirit.
severe. Once seen as too extreme, may now play kingmaker in Netanyahu's coalition building. Israel's fifth election in less than 4 years may finally produce a stable government. It'll also...
And what's funny about that, if any other country had did 5 elections in 4 years, they would have said some corruption. The U.S. would have went in there like, oh, that's not fair. You know, of course, if they have resources that they need in that country, they will try to do whatever. But when it comes to that land, they ain't saying shit. But I just wanted to show that part when he was drinking, because that is true. They're enjoying that land tremendously, and we already know. People already said it. The guy already said it. He's like, when that guy was in power, there was more heavy persecution, more heavy them stealing the land from them. All right, and he had a break with this other guy. Now the pressure's on, so they knew exactly what they did when putting this man back. And you can't be blind to not see what's going to happen. It says, verse 17, but upon Mount Zion shall be deliverance. And we're not gonna get in a 757 to go into the land and somebody's gonna give us a flag and say, welcome back to. No. That's not happen. That's not how Jacob was gonna go back into the land. All right. You don't need no UN to write a bill and say, oh, you guys can go to that land. All right. You don't need none of that. The Lord himself is going to bring us back into that land. It says, and there shall be holiness, and the house of Jacob shall possess their possessions. So meaning what? There ain't going to be no other people in that land. There ain't going to be no Palestinians and Christians and Muslims and this small sect of this guy or that guy. No, none of that. That land is going to be for only the seed of Israel when the true people get to that land. It says, in the house of Jacob shall be a fire. In the house of Jacob shall be a fire, in the house of Joseph a flame, which Jacob represents Judah, Benjamin, Levi. And Joseph represents the 10 tribes, Ephraim on down to Issachar. A flame in the house of Esau. Out of all nations that's the Lord created, Esau, Edom, this is your destiny. It says, in the house of Esau for stubble. And they shall kindle in them and devour them, and there shall not be any remaining of the house of Esau, for the Lord hath spoken it. So the mass genocide that's going to take place on the planet Earth is going to be Esau, Edom, the liars, the devils. All right. And that's going to take place in the kingdom of heaven. These people are going to have to build up the kingdom for us. So there's a lot to be done. And this is one major step closer to home. So with that being said, Shalom.